Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Peter Parkour.
And I'm the real Jossie, and we are
the Distorted Theorists. So, I don't want to give anything away.
Yep.
But we just came back from the theater from seeing
The Batman.
And oh my goodness. Good goodness. Oh my god, it was well, I'm not going to really get into it. What it was. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it indifferent to us?
Before we even get into anything,
yes.
Two things. Gonna let you guys know there will be no spoilers in this video. This is just a straight up review of what we thought, what we liked, what we didn't like, and yeah, different points of the movie.
Yeah.
But even before that, if you get a second, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, show some support for the channel, and we apologize for the technical difficulties of our live from the theater. The connection was super poopy, and I apologize. It's our first live. We're still working out the kinks. But Pete, take them into the movie.
So the Batman actually doesn't enter theaters until tomorrow. We are lucky enough to get into one of the fan first events on IMAX.
There's like a premiere.
Well, of sorts. From what
it
I was
actually said,
looking
it said on the screen, like even like in the beginning, they had like this little mini, I guess, cast trailer, so to speak.
Yeah, well,
and it said like literally saying, "You guys are some of the first in the world to see this movie," which we're in Newfoundland, so probably true. And
even with that too, like if you've ever, like obviously we have Cineplex here.
Yeah.
Cineplex is famous players, but in the States or around the world, it's different Cineplexes and Odeons and everything like that. But our Cineplex. Normally before our movies, we've got this like, it's time for some trivia, and all this stuff, and there's a host and all that stuff. That, I mean, that's pretty common in most theaters nowadays.
But when we walked into this one,
it was its own Batman.
There was like
graphic.
The red screen. It was like you were in like, I don't know,
and
there
was ads for DC Universe Ultimate, which isn't available in Canada. Thanks, guys.
Fact check.
But beyond that, it was actually really cool, and there were no trailers. Well, there was one trailer
of the movie we were about to watch.
Yeah, well, it was basically the DC
like
slate. So it was
it
was the sizzle reel for
Black Adam,
Batman, Black Adam,
Flash.
Aquaman, and Flashpoint.
All movies you will see us react to and trailers, I should say, in this channel.
And then it went right into the movie.
Straight in.
Trailers. I loved it.
Which I liked. Yeah, that was good. But may I ask the first question to you, sir?
Yeah.
Let's start right off the cuff. Keeping it real. Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Okay, so I got a lot of...
I'll let you... The floor is yours, my friend.
I got a lot of hate when we did our trailer reaction.
You did.
For my hate of Robert Pattinson.
Guys.
Well, listen, this is the thing.
It's all good.
I guess I had some bad information regarding how he was supposed to be.
Yep.
I didn't fact check. That's on me. I won't lie. He does a good job as an angsty little Batman.
Yep.
This is a different Batman that we've seen. This is not the Christian Bale. This is not the George Clooney. This is not the Michael Keaton. This is not any of the other people. This is a very young Batman.
Yep.
This is year 2.
To play off of this, loved Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Is Bruce Wayne?
Bruce Wayne wasn't feeling it. Just because, if I may, just because, like you said, it is a younger version. I understand that, but I don't like he had the long bang and stuff. I don't know. I just don't see. And maybe it's because of the Batmans we've seen. But
Batman,
Bruce Wayne's that we've seen, I should say. But I don't know. Like when he was just in his regular Bruce Wayne get up, and there was no formal like Bruce Wayne stuff. It was just like I hate my life and I'm wearing tattered clothes. I don't know. But Batman himself, Robert Pattinson as Batman, I should say, was in my opinion great. So gritty and
Matt Reeves, the director, did an excellent job of portraying him as Batman. Is he the best Batman? No. However, the actual Cape Crusader parts, they were actually very good.
Yeah.
But so Robert did well. Zoe Kravitz, I almost said Zoe Bell. Zoe Kravitz is Selena Kyle and Catwoman.
Yep. What do you think of her performance?
She did well. Again, they could have used her as someone who just even wasn't Catwoman. However, as Catwoman, she did very well, and it wasn't comic booky with it, like every other Catwoman besides, well, I can't say every other one. So there's that movie that they made that was with Halle Berry. I never saw it. But
what was the name of that movie?
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to put my finger on it. That was campy, and Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns was super campy.
The thing about Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman that I felt I liked in best was the acrobatics. No, I just liked the fight scenes and the acrobatics of what she was performing. The fight scenes, kicks and flips, and even the little subtle cat-like reflexes that she had. She performed those very well, which we didn't really see, in my opinion, from really any Catwoman. Maybe Halle Berry's, but again, I don't even remember that one so well. But I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer had kicks and stuff, but not acrobatics, I found so much. But the movie was older, so I did like that coming from Zoe Kravitz. But they tried to do a love thing, obviously, with her and Batman. Not love, but romance or attraction.
A tryst, if you will.
Was it necessary?
No, I don't think
Probably
so.
not.
It wasn't central to it. It didn't draw me in and be like, oh God, I hope those kids make it. However, and then again, that's not a spoiler because they've alluded to it in the trailers and everything.
But they did lean, no spoilers, but they did lean heavy on it at one point in the movie. You probably know which one I'm talking about. Where there's that was the focus of, the bat and the cat, and I was like, really? That's how? Okay.
I just looked at it as a team up.
Yeah,
and that was it. And our big bad, the Riddler. Is it Paul Dano? Paul Dano? Paul Dan.
Our buddy Paul.
Paul.
If I may, here's my beef. I'll say beef, but not all negative or anything with Paul Dano playing this. So I love Paul Dano as an actor. Now, I'm not saying I'm a fan type thing. I just love when I find out he's in a movie and it catches my attention. I'm like, oh shit, that guy's in this movie. Like we were saying just before we started recording, he's in Taking Lives, did a great job there, and he's in The Prisoners with Hugh Jackman, played awesome role there. My thing with him and the Riddler is I wasn't very interested when he was the Riddler.
Oh man!
But when he was out of being the Riddler, he was just whoever he was, Edward, or we'll say, or whatever.
Edward.
Nick,
well, that's
a little twist, but again, no spoilers. But yeah, when Paul Dano is, outside of his Riddler costume, that's where I found him most intriguing. So that's what I like the best.
We see him in the cafe.
Yes,
because that's again no spoilers from that. Yep. But I respectfully disagree. I think that him in the way that they portray him in, because again, this has got a more realistic Batman. His Riddler is much more psychotic, and you can see it from the footage that we've gotten and some of the clips that have come out.
But even the actor they chose every role he plays is pretty much psychotic.
He's a nut bar.
Right? As I said.
And I think he captures it well, and it's a different take on the Riddler than I've got my bowler hat and my question mark on a cane. Riddle me this, Batman. It doesn't have any of that anymore.
Although he probably could have pulled that off pretty well.
He could have, but again, it would have been camp. There's not a whole lot of camp in this.
I know.
So a couple of our other baddies that we've got in it. We've got Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot.
Now, that guy can act.
That
guy can act.
I forgot it was when he showed up.
You don't even know.
Hey, what are we doing? I'm like,
but you.
Oh my God, that's Colin Farrell.
I didn't even you do not process that's Colin Farrell. I don't even know who you think that actor is. You're just, this is the Penguin, basically.
The prosthetics.
He done a great job.
Oh, he did a fantastic job.
Yep.
And from what I've heard, there's plans in the works for a Penguin show on HBO.
Man, everything's just taking shows.
I know. Well, they did it with Peacemaker. That's a great one. But we'll talk about that another time. Anywho, and we've got John Turturro, who was only really, as far as I can tell, revealed a little while ago that he was in the film.
Okay.
As a casting choice. I can't remember if it talks about who he is, but he is in the film, and he does a good job.
We'll keep that secret? Just in case.
Yeah, we'll keep it secret.
But he I assume I know what you're talking about, but I think I do. But he does a great job as well, and he is definitely a supporting character behind the scenes, I find. More or less.
He's kind of always that anyways, but he does.
Pieces, but yeah. If I may as well, one thing I did want to say, one thing I noticed, and I'll share it with you guys, is this movie, to me, felt very like Batman Begins. Now, that's just a vibe I had.
Yeah.
The color tones and everything in, the way that it's filmed. You remember in Batman Begins, there was a lot of blacks and oranges and firelight and or street light, I'll say. And the only real colorful palette in the movie was when he was fighting Ra's al Ghul. Well, that's outdoors and ice and everything. I felt like the same thing with this movie has a lot of blacks, a lot of oranges, a lot of like dark colors in the clubs and stuff, and like a little bit splashes of orange, and and there's not much light. So I got that very Batman Begins. Like the whole time I was watching, I was like, man, this is like the same filmography as Batman Begins, and that was just what I feel. But the storyline and everything, I felt mixed with The Dark Knight Rises. So it was kind of like you take those two and you have the Batman. But
we forgot two people. Batman's friends.
you mean like Alfred?
Alfred and
Commissioner Gordon.
oh, he's not commissioner yet.
Well, whatever.
Detective Gordon.
I didn't even notice if they said commissioner, to be honest.
They didn't.
They called him Gordon a lot.
Because he's detective. He's Detective Gordon throughout this one. Because again, this is year 2, so we're still at the beginning of most of everyone's career.
Yep.
So we've got Jeffrey Wright playing Detective Gordon, and we've got Andy Serkis. Playing Alfred.
He done a good job as well.
And Jeffrey Wright was fantastic.
Andy Serkis never really got as much screen time as I would have liked, because I think, but he may get another time to shine should this spawn a sequel. But Jeffrey Wright was heavy in the movie. Like he got a lot of screen time. So
there was a couple of parts where it honestly seemed like a bit of a buddy cop movie. I was like,
a little bit. Yeah. Well,
I can't do what you do.
But there was some specific scenes that definitely drew to that. What about action? I gotta say it. The third act of this movie, if you know what I'm referring to, drew me in heavy like that. Oh, yeah. Like it made, like if you're hemming and hawing, like you're kind of like, oh, this movie's decent, whatever. When this third act starts ramping up, you're dialed in, or I was anyway.
The action is great. The fight scenes, I mean, they're very fluid, and there wasn't in a lot of movies nowadays, when you have people fighting, it's like, okay, now we're going to film it from this direction. It's these cuts, quick cuts to people doing this. But in this, it's very much like when people are fighting, it's one
and you also
shot.
One really good thing is you kind of playing off what you said. You get to see Robert Pattinson follow through with his punches.
Or
it's not like
stunt
bah, cut. Yeah, it's like boo, like literally bah. You know what I mean? So and you get the deep.
Yeah, like there's weight behind those punches.
Exactly.
And you really feel it's just like not the Luke Skywalker. And misses 4 feet away from the guy's face. It's like there's real weight to his punches. It really feels like he's just absolutely destroying.
And they done a really good job. I'm going to say up until the last minute and beyond, really, that this movie has stakes. There is a lot of weight behind the storyline. If you think you know what you're about to see in this movie, I don't think you do. I really don't. For most of you, I didn't expect what happened to happen.
No.
So when it did happen, I was like, whoa, what? Like I thought there's still like an hour to this movie. What's going on? And I was just like pleasantly surprised. So I was glad that the story was what it was.
For sure.
And they told it well.
And another bit of the action, so 2 things. So one of the bits of the action is actually another character that I would consider in the movie.
Shoot.
The Batmobile. The Batmobile is in this. And again, I keep alluding to this, or we do, it's an early Batman. So it's not the whole jet turbine, we saw the Tumbler.
No.
We saw the Tumbler, but it's just like a souped up Corvette Camaro with this...
Which is also in the trailer.
Yeah.
And
it works.
But again, the sound effects that they use when it's introduced, no spoiler, just makes you be like, ooh, shit about to go down.
It
does.
It's very unique. Like it's not the jet turbine that we've seen from the Schumacher ones. It's not the Tumbler.
You can see, even by the gadgetry, that this is a very primitive Batman. He hasn't used the weight of his finances, or probably even his skills and smarts is what I want to say, to advance where he will be, I guess, as Batman, or as we know him, as Batman. So there's a lot of room for growth for Robert Pattinson if they choose to do a sequel or a trilogy or whatever it's going to be.
And my second point is, in terms of action, is in very specific scenes where there is a lack of action. This is a film where we really get to see him be the world's greatest detective. That's what Batman is toted from in Detective Comics. The world's greatest detective. Yes.
Because I don't know that world, so to speak, but
when his detective skills,
he's smart.
Well, he's smart, like but he's right. He's got able to analyze crime scenes.
Yep.
Now in Rocksteady's Arkham games, he's got a helmet or his cowl is able to calculate all this stuff, and you see other things like in the Nolan films, he's able to.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's very nitty gritty of and they're thinking because the Riddler riddles and they have to think through things. There's detective work. That's Batman to me. Batman punches 100%. And Batman uses this muscle too.
Yeah.
So
because he don't have powers.
No, he's just got money. So yeah, and I like action.
What about world building? Like just briefly, like what do you?
My God, Gotham is wet.
Wow.
Oh.
But again, where do we see the franchise going? I guess. What do you?
You mean like the legacy? Where is this going to go?
Yeah, like no spoilers or anything, but like who do you think we're going to see, and where do you think this is going story wise?
Well, there's people that I'd like to see. I mean, Batman has an excellent rogues gallery. We've seen the Penguin in this. We saw the Riddler.
Yeah. So let's even take those, if I may pause it, like let's get rid of those at the equation. Let's say they're not in the next film.
Well, who's the greatest Batman villain of all time?
Well, if we look at the Long Halloween, I know that it has to do with Joker.
With I'm the Joker, yes.
Yeah.
And
as I said before, I really want to see. It may not be in the storyline, but I want to see a good, well done Mr. Freeze. That's all I want right now.
Yeah, and that's going to be hard to do because he's one of the more fantastical villains because he's like, well,
I don't know if he'll fit in this.
Can anyone top Arnold?
Yes. Yes, they can.
Yes.
But you know what? Again, the way they did the Riddler, they took him and they made him psychotic, not like you said, tip the hat, keen. So why not do that with Mr. Freeze? He don't have to be like, here's my ice gun. He could be more something more subtle. You know what I mean?
Two-Face. Two-Face is a great.
Harvey Dent is pretty grounded. Who else we got? Poison Ivy again is a bit, far-fetched.
Let's see Harley Quinn. I mean, Margot Robbie does an excellent job as her, but maybe a more grounded one. I don't know.
Another one that would fit in this genre from what I've seen is a good Scarecrow.
Cillian Murphy did an excellent Scarecrow. There was a shame that he didn't get as
from
much.
Batman Begins.
Yeah, he did not get enough.
He didn't get enough, and he didn't I find he didn't portray the Scarecrow. He embodied the Scarecrow, but he didn't I don't know. I would like more.
You want the cartoon? You want the campy?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Camp.
But I would like him to keep it more grounded. Someone could plausibly create a scare serum or whatever, or dust or whatever you want to call it.
Bane. So they've been used in previous movies and whatnot. So, but the Joker is so much.
Yeah. Well, the way that it's gritty in this film and the darkness and that, I could see how the Joker would slide in Batman's DMs.
Oh dear.
In a sequel.
And one of the other big aspects of the movie, and it's not that big of an aspect of it, really and truly, but it's present, is you already heard us do it, is the music. The music is composed by Michael.
Yep.
Giacchino. I apologize.
Cappuccino?
Michael, I'm sorry. But he also did the score for a movie that we recently saw and loved.
Really? Hit me.
Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Home. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Pretty sure he did. Fact checks. Cover me in the comments.
They played a. I don't know.
What was that?
They play. I don't know. That was me trying to. Do I look like a guitar to you?
Not anymore. But the Batman theme that they used through it, which was in the trailers again, is that dun 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 dun, and it's through it. And there's not many other themes that are through it. They are evident at the beginning of the movie, and then they kind of play on those throughout the rest of the film.
Yeah.
I seem to be leading all this, which is fair, but it's okay.
Go ahead.
Is this movie from the cinematography of it is very comic book like. This is something that I was paid a lot of attention to. Once I was aware of it, I couldn't not see it anymore. There's not very many sweeping shots with the camera. It's not like we've in the Fast and Furious Transformers where we've got the drone following everything.
Right.
There's not very many shots that are even close to that. There's a couple of movements or whatever, but it's very static. And because it was IMAX, we get these big wide frame and you're like, oh, okay, I can see this. There's a scene. I'm not going to describe what has happened before the scene, but someone is upside down and they're looking out and they can see Batman walking towards them and it's framed in the center. I'm like, that's just a continuous comic book frame by frame as you're reading down the page.
Yeah.
They did it well with the color palettes and everything. Like you mentioned, it is dark. It is there's flashes
they
of
matched
lights.
it. They matched it perfect.
Yeah.
So
they did.
They done a lot of good things, a lot of things right. Couple like we always say, couple hits, couple misses.
Yeah, nothing's
but,
perfect.
I think overall it did turn out better than we expected it to. But what is your overall census for these guys, and what were your overall thoughts, just to clue us up?
Okay, so the things that I loved the cinematography, the cast was excellent. The music is not a huge part of it, but it did really well with that too. The thing that I will say that I probably didn't love the most is that it does get a bit long in the tooth. It is a long movie. It's almost 3 hours long. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but there are a couple of pacing moments where it's just like I know what's coming, like get to it. But beyond that, as a rating out of 10, are we gonna do this?
Sure.
I'm gonna give it a 9.5. Like it is
9.5?
Oh man, it's up there. It's not. It is okay. Well, you give your rating, and then I want to say something.
My thing, the good and bad. I love the Batman. I love the Penguin. I love Paul Dano as the Riddler when he was out of costume, like I said. And I just thought that, like you said, the movie could have been shorter. There were some quieter times that I was like, there's not much going on here. Like, wish it was a bit sped. So if they did that, for me, it does fall around my equivalent of how well I liked Batman Begins. For me, if I did have to put like a superhero 1 out of 10 rating on it, I'd probably get a 7.5. But that's just me. So
out of the Batman movies that you have seen, where does this stack in amongst Batman? Batmen, Bat people.
Like I said, well, it kind of pretty much hangs right there. It's definitely under Dark Knight. It's under Dark Knight Rises for me. I'm not going to lie, as I said in other videos, I am a sucker for the Val Kilmer Batman Forever. So I'm even putting it below that, but that's because I love that. I grew up watching that one. So I would put this one at like 4 or 5 on the list, on the tear down.
This is tied for number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying that, like I said before, I don't know if it's going to top The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight is the best Batman for reasons.
Yeah.
The Batman is the best Batman for reasons.
Yeah.
And they compete.
They are 2 different Batmans.
But these 2 films have strengths that the other one beats out. And honestly, I mean, I loved the Nolan trilogy. I really and truly did. And I didn't dislike any of the Schumacher films either.
Yeah.
But I was in awe watching this. Now IMAX did help.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
And there's more to be had.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And hopefully there's a plan for a second one. There's been rumors that they're like, well, we're waiting on the green light, that technically they haven't released it to the public yet. We saw it. The premiere was about a week ago, and it's in theaters starting tomorrow night.
Yep.
And then it is released worldwide on March 4th.
As it is.
At a theater near you, hopefully. But that's it from us. So
that's it.
I
That's
loved
the
it.
review.
He didn't quite, but it's still a good
right.
movie. Yeah,
it's all good.
It's
anyway, man, take us out.
Well, so as always, I am Peter Parkour,
and I'm the Rio Jossie. And like we always say around here, keep it real.
Dun 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 dun.